Joy 99.7 FM.
Tonight, government in a desperate attempt to prevent Labour's nationwide strike as its ministers for national security, lands and natural resources, interior, defence and environment are currently locked up in a meeting finalising plans to combat the Galamsey menace.
And we are just on the verge of deploying these river guards. As I speak to you, a meeting is scheduled at the Ministry of Defence to cross the T's and dot the I's in respect of this issue of river guards. Sooner rather than later, we will have them deployed on the major river bodies of our country for them to police the river bodies, for them to monitor the river bodies.
But organised Labour say their resolve to strike on Thursday remains unchanged.
The government is serious. A simple temporary moratorium on mining, so we all sit to dialogue, will be the way to go. But they are talking about things when Parliament reconvenes.
Meanwhile, organised Labour's impending strike hits a snag as Ghana Medical Association opts out, explaining they were not consulted earlier.
5 people indicated we should join the strike. 1 abstained. 15 said no, we shouldn't join. I would like to take this opportunity to inform all of you. I know the press is here. The Ghana Medical Association is not joining the strike. We will not embark on the strike action.
All of this and more here on Top Story, brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Tonight's government is in a desperate attempt to avert a nationwide strike as declared by organised Labour as it summons ministers involved in the fight against illegal mining to finalise plans to combat the Galamsey menace. The ministers for national security, lands and natural resources, interior, defence and environment have been locked up in an emergency meeting to desperately find ways to avoid a nationwide shutdown on Thursday, October 10 by organised Labour. The group reaffirmed their decision to protest against the wanton destruction of the environment and river bodies by illegal miners following government's failure to meet their demands. Listen to the Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, Joshua Ansah, announcing the decision at a news conference.
The government meeting with Organised Labour's response, we have concluded as follows. Our strike remain unchanged. I want to repeat, the strike notice remains unchanged. We have the view that what the government has proposed to do does not adequately address our demands, and therefore our notice of strike notice remains unchanged. Thank you.
Well, government tonight is making frantic effort to avoid this full-scale strike by Labour. In fact, we understand that they are currently still locked up in that particular meeting to devise the best strategy to deal with Galamsey and to avoid that particular nationwide strike as declared by organised Labour. Now, here is Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapo, speaking to my colleague, Elton Broby, earlier.
Felt that in the circumstances, this move was one which will not be detrimental to our efforts at regulating small scale. So essentially, that's what it is. the decision has been taken to revoke LI 2462. The fight against illegal mining has been ongoing under this government for the past 7 years. Excuse me, I would say that no government has fought this menace as much as Akufo-Addo's government has done. Indeed, we all know that illegal small-scale mining has been with us for many years. And when the president gave his inaugural address on 7 January 2017, a greater part of his speech focused on the issue of illegal small-scale mining. That definitely presupposes that illegal small-scale mining was a major problem at the time he took the oath of office on 7 January 2017. For about 6 months or so ago, we took the decision that we need to roll out a policy of river guards. In other words, we need to have a dedicated cohort of people, a dedicated group of personnel who will patrol and monitor our river bodies 24/7. And so we began a collaboration with the Ghana Navy, where we procured 5 speedboats and began a very rigorous recruitment process or exercise, which resulted in the recruitment of some 300 young men and women. They were trained extensively in how to pilot these boats, in how to have body cams, and how to use drones, and so many other components of this policy have now been put together. And we are just on the verge of deploying these river guards. As I speak to you, a meeting is scheduled at the Ministry of Defense today at 12 o'clock to cross the T's and dot the I's in respect of this issue of river guards. And we think that the deployment of these river guards will really go a great length at helping us monitor the river bodies 24/7, as it were. And this has been work in progress. This is not something that has just come up. This is something that we sought approval from the central government some 6 or 8 months. We will find out the exact date with me now. But we've been working very hard at this and ensuring that we screen all the recruits, all the personnel who applied to join this river guard efforts. And they were taken through security training, screening. They were recruited. They were trained. We got the equipment. We put the policy and the operational manual, everything together. We are now meeting, as I say, to just smoothing the rough edges. And sooner rather than later, we will have them deployed on the major river bodies of our country, for them to police the river bodies, for them to monitor the river bodies, and for them to be able to communicate as quickly as they find any illegal mining activity taking place on the river bodies of our country. As you may have read from the newspapers as well, the periodic surgical operation by the Ghana Armed Forces under the rubric of Operation Halt is been evaluated again, has been examined, and the decision has been taken that we're going to have surgical operations as we've done in the past. So the point I'm making is that, look, this government's commitment to the fight against illegal small-scale mining has been unfetching. And I think the government has been absolutely transparent, honest, and resolute when it comes to this fight. Look, let's be clear that there are challenges. There's no two ways about that because of the complexity of this matter and because of the common denominator when it comes to small-scale mining or when it comes to mining generally, which is really gold and money. And therefore, people will want to persist, and the cabals will want to outwit the system, and they want to persevere. But we are also absolutely resolute and determined, and we're not going to give up on this fight, and we're going to get on with it. And as I say, these measures which we have worked on over the period are also going to be rolled out, and we believe that they will make a positive impact.
But organized labor has been reacting to this particular pronouncement by the minister, and they say they are unmoved until they see actions on the ground by the government. Professor Ransford Jampo is the University of Ghana chairman or president of UTAG.
If you look at all that has been said, you don't even have timelines to them. And so I am surprised that Fatima says she is surprised at the response of labor. The agreement was that go listen and revert to us. They want to listen. They came back to us, and we said, no way. If government is serious, a simple temporary moratorium on mining, so we all sit to dialogue, will be the way to go. But you are talking about things when Parliament reconvenes. When is that? And we are going to collaborate with Labour to fight galamsey. How? We are going to ask that special court be set. And meanwhile, people are dying. People are dying today. So why wouldn't you?
The special court was one of your own demands.
So that we look at the other long-term interventions. Why don't we stop the death now? Then we can talk about other long-winding propagandistic interventions later too. And I'm surprised, like I said, that they are saying they are surprised at Labour. The kind of leadership of Labour Union today, they are not zombies.
Meanwhile, organized labor's planned demonstration against illegal mining is set to hit a setback as medical doctors have opted out of the industrial action. Ghana Medical Association President Dr. Frank Serebo revealed that over half of their council members voted against the decision to join the protest during the Medical Superintendent's 22nd Annual General and Scientific Conference in the Central Region. Listen.
That we should embark on industrial action. This directive, I must say, that GMA had no input. We were not called. I wasn't in the meeting, but at this critical decision, hopefully I was expecting that at least somebody should have picked the phone and give me a call to indicate that this is the decision that we have decided. I only saw the notice of the industrial action, just as all of you did see. I decided to ignore it, but then it popped up. So I said, there is no harm. After all, we all don't like galamsey. So if there is an issue that is coming up as far as galamsey is concerned, we need to address it. So I decided to call each and every individual council member and ask him whether we should join this industrial action or not, or hey, whether we should join this industrial action or not. We have 21 council members. Some representing junior doctors, some representing the Dental Association, some representing the Society of Private Medical and Dental Practitioners. When I finished tallying the results of the opinion of the various council members, 5 people indicated we should join the strike. 1 abstained. 15 said no, we shouldn't join. But that was on Thursday. So I said, look, if we should issue this out right now, we may deflate the momentum that organized labor has gathered. So let's hope and see maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, we issue a result. In holding, before I could say that over the weekend, there was a leak from the council platform indicating to the whole world that we have virtually taken a decision that we're not joining the strike. Since then, there has been a lot of commentaries. Let me take this opportunity to inform all of you that Ghana Medical Association doesn't support galamsey. We think that there are pragmatic ways of dealing with it. There is no way I can plunge this association into a strike with no end in sight, because the strike that organized labor is declaring is indefinite. Again, 3 weeks from today, we have our annual general conference. You are in a conference as medical superintendents today. If I declare a strike, and even though council has said no, I am sure all of you have to run back to your various facilities to go and quench the fire that will be erupting there.
Well, let's do more on this by bringing in Dr. Ishmael Norman. He is President, Institute for Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. I also have on the line Professor Mahmoud Akudugu, is National President of UTAG. Let me start with you, Dr. Norman. So the government has announced what they intend doing. They want to send the military back, plus the river guards to guard the rivers. Does this amount to what Labour is asking for the president to declare a state of emergency?
No. Thank you for having me, but this is absolutely child's play. I associate with Mr. Ansan and Professor Gampo and the positions that they have taken, because the minister was saying that since 2017, government has recognized this problem and has been working on it. If you've been working on it, and at the time that you took power in 2017, the stability of the water in Ghana was about 40%, and it's now 70%. Then you haven't done anything. And so to deploy drones and river guards, the galamseyers are not afraid of publicity, of video, of anybody, witnesses, townspeople, chiefs, anybody. For a little boy, young man, to stand there and say before a camera that Akufo-Addo can do nothing, can do focal to him, and that they will continue to do the galamsey, tells you that the little optics that they are trying to show is not going to do anything. Also, deploying the military, what is their charge? What is their order? Is their order just to be around, just so that we see that government is doing something? If they are not there to shoot to kill, if they are not there to seize and capture, if they are not there to use force, whatever reasonable force that they confront to be able to stop this activity, it is just child's play. Optics to convince Ghanaians that somehow government is doing something. And the meetings that the ministers had today, you can bet your bottom dollar the meeting is okay, it's totally allowed under Act 1030 of 2020. The joint meeting of ministers is okay, but it is about state security. They are planning on how they can frustrate this activity. It is not about human security, which this government has failed completely. Water is destroyed, food supply is contaminated, people are getting sick toxicologically. This government should have done toxicological examination to see the extent of the exposure of people in the galamsey areas. I'm from Konongo, and I get upset that they are doing galamsey right on the main road of my town, and this government goes up and down to Kumasi and Accra and does nothing.
So, Doc, with your experience, what do you think is the best way the government can approach this? If you say this is child's play,
the government should tackle the matter as if we are at war, as if we are under attack by terrorist group, because this is equivalent to domestic terrorism. And if somebody had come here, a group of people have come here with AK-47, shoulder grenade launcher, they would have instructed the soldiers and the police to use guns and warfare to demolish and destroy the enemy. We are tackling it as if these people who are doing the galamsey, they care. And the reason why government is not going to take that approach is because a lot of party members are involved in the galamsey business. It finances MPP administration, and so they will not stop it.
Doc, isn't it a fact that if you declare shoot to kill operation, some innocent souls could also fall victim to this? And that's why government in its own wisdom feels that once we've trained people to man river bodies, let's take them there. Once we get the military to also patrol in the forest to get this tackled.
I can tell you this. Those who are going to mine the river bodies are going to be in cahoots with the galamseyers, and they're going to get very rich. If you say that there will be collateral damage, you think there is not already established collateral damage in this country of people that are not galamseyers, who are compelled to drink contaminated water, women that are giving birth to children that are deformed at birth because of galamsey. You think there is no collateral damage already? We are cowards. That's a cop-out. We are cowards. It means that if we are attacked by a terrorist group, we will say that because of collateral damage, we will do nothing. And this is where we are as a nation. We are spineless group of people.
But I mean, the ministers met today, and the information we have is that they currently are still in this particular meeting trying to finalize things. Now, we don't know the briefing they are giving to the military people. Will we be right to say that because they've not asked them to shoot and kill, and then this intervention by government is meaningless?
How many prison houses do we have? How many spaces do we have? If they were to even capture, did they deploy them together with vehicles to capture these people and send them to prison? What is the nature of the deployment? Just to stand there with their weapons, looking good, and with their fine uniforms, and do what? What is the purpose of the deployment? If you send people on a mission, they are not there just to stand around and watch people. They are there to take immediate action. And what action are they going to take? If you don't give them the power to shoot, to kill, even during peacekeeping, soldiers are allowed to defend themselves. So if a galamsey were to discharge a bullet, the rest of the soldiers and the police, they are supposed to stand there and watch because people will get damaged. This is a nation with no spine, no interest in defending the territorial integrity within the country, because if we did, this would have been stopped. And so for the minister to say they are deploying river guard, that's a joke. The drones are a joke. You think they don't know? The galamseys themselves also have drones, and they use drones to monitor police activities, who is coming, who is going, and so on and so forth. And they've got sophisticated weapons. And so if you give our soldiers and police officers very cheap weapons, old weapons, 2 bullets, 3 bullets, to go and defend and stop this, is not going to happen.
So is this shoot to kill proposal by you a characteristic of a declaration of the state of emergency?
If the government is not going to declare a state of emergency, it means that government is not really willing to tackle the matter. And organized labor should never give up. They should go. Let this country implode. Let it be. Because if the government wants to stop the implosion of the country, it will declare a state of emergency, and then you can go after.
I'm asking whether a declaration of state of emergency also has in it your proposal that we should do shoot to kill.
If you were to declare, the government, I know that President Akufo-Addo would never declare a state of emergency. But if you were to declare a state of emergency, then you should also empower the military and the police officers to also, if you are there, it means that you are ignoring the state of emergency, and you should be tackled with whatever force, if that means shooting to kill you, should be. I mean, why are we so cowardly about everything in this country? People, we do it very easily. By stopping this menace, we can't.
Okay, Doc, hold the line for me. Let me bring in Professor Mahmoud Akudugu, who is National UTAG President. Prof, grateful for joining. The government has stated the things, or some of the things they are doing to tackle this. You had the deployment of military river guards and military to tackle it. Does this really come to answer your call for a state of emergency?
Good evening, and good evening to our security expert and to your listeners. The question that I would want to ask is, all this is in an attempt to do what? To stop the destruction of the environment? Is that the case? All what they said they want to do, deploying the security and all that. And these security people, the soldiers, the police, and water guards, when they go, they are supposed to be looking for who is doing legal small-scale mining and who is doing illegal small-scale mining, and they will drive them away. Is that what they are supposed to go and do?
That obviously will be their brief.
That is the problem, because there is serious destruction happening on even legal concessions. There's serious destruction going on. And so the point we're making is that, look, put a moratorium on it. Just then, in the meantime, no mining, and everybody's out of that place. Then the security people can go and ensure that nobody is doing anything anywhere to destroy the water bodies. Then we are back on the drawing table to come out with strategies to encourage and promote responsible and sustainable small-scale mining. That is all we are asking for. How difficult is that to do? How difficult is that? Why do we want to, push the country to the brink? It's big my imagination.
But you asked for actions, and the government says, I have listened. I'm moving in to get the river guards to go on the river bodies. I'm getting the military to intervene. Aren't these exactly what you were requesting for?
Yes, so the request we made, right? The request we made was that, first of all, let's stop mining and prospecting for gold and other minerals in forest reserves, on farmland, and in the river bodies or the water bodies. Stop it completely, as we did in 2017, and we saw the results. Then when you do that, then you can send the military or the security people to enforce, to ensure that nobody is doing anything. But if you say that, okay, but to keep going on, then the security people, their first thing to do is to find out whether this person is doing legal or is doing illegal. Then when the person is having the papers, and we know in Ghana, how are they even going to verify that these papers that the person is showing are genuine? Assuming they are being able to verify that, then they have to now dedicate time to do the verification, and now the next step is to stop those. It's just going to be ineffective as usual as we've known it, and be of no any significant results.
So for Labour, this does not cut it for you?
It simply doesn't solve the problem. For us, a complete stop is what is required. All forms of mining in water bodies, in forest reserves, and in farmlands should be halted completely. Then let's go back to assess and see what strategies we can put in place to encourage sustainable and responsible mining.
Okay, Prof.
It's fine that we are asking for.
It's 5:58 now. Do you know how your entire membership nationwide are voting? I mean, we understand you are voting. So do you know where they are voting towards? Either they support or they do not?
Overwhelming majority of members of the University Teachers Association of Ghana are voting in support of the industrial action.
Do we know the percentages now?
So far, we have results from about 9 campuses out of 15, and we can tell you that the minimum endorsement is 70%, and we have as high as about over 90% endorsing.
I'm grateful to you, Prof, for joining us here. Dr. Norman, so what would you want the president to do in the next 30 seconds? I mean, as we move forward.
As I was saying just a moment ago, the president should declare a national state of emergency, and then deploy the soldiers and the police officers, the immigration, for them to then go and monitor that the state of emergency is being enforced, whilst at the same time putting a team together to develop the strategies to ensure that this doesn't happen.
Okay.
Every August, we stop fisher folks from fishing.
Okay.
We can't even stop galamsey for just 1 month.
Dr. Norman, I'm grateful to you for joining us.
You're welcome.
This has been Top Story. Coming up next is Newsnight.
Hashtag Stop Galamsey now is 60 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Tonight, 52 protesters granted bail, leaving convener of Fix the Country movement, Oliver Bakavoma, was still in custody after a third failure in a row to secure his freedom.
Successful day so far, and all we can say is thanks to God. Almighty for the victory we have chalked today. And I'm sure at the end of the day, the court will pronounce all the accused persons as innocent persons.
But all 52 still remain in custody in spite of bail, as the accuser system of putting impediments in their way to go through the bail process. We have more from the court, where the failure of the Attorney General's Department to file processes in time has led to a delay in the start of the trial of the protesters. Also tonight,
we have reported severally that behind Inyam police station, people are doing stuff there which we have not permitted. So how come that the police is not taking action towards the Enyinam one, for example, that galamsey is taking place behind the police station?
Tonight, the Ghana Police Service is fighting off claims about refusing to act on illegal mining close to its vicinity in Enyinem, as alleged by the CEO of the Minerals Commission. We have details as the police says several operations on the Brim River, which is 800 meters away from the police station, led to arrests and prosecutions of 4 persons. And tonight, also, Organized Labor's October 10 nationwide shutdown suffers another opposition, this time by the Ghana Medical Association, which has decided to sit on the fence in the fight against illegal mining, citing a lack of consultation on the matter.
5 people indicated we should join the strike. 1 abstained. 15 said no, we shouldn't join. I would like to take this opportunity to inform all of you. I know the press is here. The Ghana Medical Association is not joining the strike.
We have more, individuals or more individual groups, including UTAG, UG, GPRTU, and CSOs and SDGs, vote to join the industrial action with just about barely 48 hours to go.
We are requesting for is the immediate revocation of LI 2426.
We are not doing this because of politics. We are doing this because of our own lives. And we will continue to be monitoring the water again.
We are bound to be part of it, or we are fully part of it.
In business, some energy analysts worried about outlook of crude prices and impact on consumers in Ghana as Middle East tension escalate, pushing oil prices above $80 a barrel.
And in sports, injury hit Ghana Black Stars hold second training session in Accra ahead of Sudan clash on Thursday.
And the winner with a project titled Harnessing Plastic as Gold, Bando Senior High School.
Sounds of the moment when Kwando Senior High School became winners of the 5th edition of the Energy Commission SHS Renewable Energy Challenge.
Naturally. You see, the other niggas were making noise. We didn't make noise. What did you do? We're there. Natural. Calm and collected. Mindful and demure. We maintained our steez. And what did you do? We delivered. Yes. We what? Delivered.
Well, we have more scoop on the school that's making waves in renewable energy. That and more in tonight's edition of Newsnight. Please do also join us with your thoughts, your comments via WhatsApp is 055 1111 997. Well, let's settle for the details now. And this is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. And the hashtag Stop Galamsey Now is still on. But we start off from the court. Another leg of the Stop Galamsey fight, and convener of the Fix the Country movement and leader of a recent protest to demand governmental action against illegal mining, has been denied bail 3 times in a row. Oliver Makavomawo has been denied bail twice by the Circuit Court and once by the High Court, and will continue to be in detention. Meanwhile, 52 other persons who the police have charged for various offences in relation to the protest have now been admitted bail after spending 2 weeks in custody. Member of our Legal Affairs Desk, Kweku Asante, has been busy all day and shuttling between the High Court and the Circuit Court, where these cases have been heard, and joins us in the studios, thankfully. Kweku, quite a day it's been for you. But in the morning, there was a bail application at the High Court. What was the outcome?
So that was not so much of a good news for the protesters, because they were seeking to get the High Court to grant them bail, their protesters, two batches numbering 20. But the officers of the Attorney General opposed that, and they in fact indicate that they had filed an affidavit in opposition, and that they wanted that served on the lawyers for the protesters. They wanted that argued in court, for which reason they were not inclined to move that to discuss that affidavit in court. Because of this, the court did adjourn proceedings to tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning, for those bail applications to be heard. But it appears that will not be necessary because all those bills have been granted. But when we get into the discussion, we can get into all that. But the morning was not so much of a success for the protesters because they didn't get the bill. The court adjourned proceedings to tomorrow at 10 o'clock here.
And then the circuit court, which has been handling the substantive case, also later in the day, had applications for bail. How did the state respond?
So about 1:32 p.m., all the protesters, numbering about 39, were brought to the court, and their lawyers did file application for bail for them. The cases were heard in batches of 9, sometimes 11, sometimes 12, and they did file application for all of them. For all of them, the state opposed all of them, but 2 of the cases. There was one protester who was arrested called Fanny Otu. Since he or she was arrested, as of now, I don't know the gender. The name has been mentioned in court, Fanny Otu. He or she has been in and out of the hospital because he or she has been sick throughout the period. And so the police and the prosecutors themselves admitted that, in fact, even this afternoon, while they were bringing the person to court, she fell ill again, and they took the person to the police hospital and has been on admission there since. And so when it came to that protester, the state did not oppose the bill. They just wanted the terms to be in such a way that he or she will turn up for court. But when it came to all the others, the state opposed to it, either opposing it openly or saying that this is up to the court to decide what they wanted to do. So the circuit court judge, Justice Obriyeboa, looked at the merits of the cases and all that, took into consideration the fact that almost all of them had been in custody for 2 weeks at least, and their fixed places of abode have all now been discussed in some of the documents that even the prosecution have filed. All that was there. Remember, one of the reasons why the judge refused to grant them bail initially was that they did not have their fixed place of abode in the documents that their lawyers presented to court. And because all these had been taken out of the way, Justice Obriyeboa decided today that all of them will be granted bail. All of them granted bail to the tune of 20,000 Ghana cedis, one surety, with the exception of Fanny Otu, who was granted a bail to the tune of 20,000 cedis and 2 sureties.
Okay, but the expectation was that the case management will start today. But we are learning that the AG's department either did not file some processes or filed them late. Tell us more.
Yes, at the last agenda date, the court did direct the prosecution to make sure that by today, they would have filed all the necessary disclosures. That is the kind of evidence they will rely on to prosecute these persons, as well as their witness statements and all other relevant documents. They were all supposed to be filed today. Almost all those documents have either not been filed as of today, or some filed just this morning and served to the lawyers for the protesters in court. And so the judge took dim view of that and did insist that, given the way this matter is, people's liberty at stake, some of them having been in custody for almost 2 weeks, it was important that the prosecution filed those documents. So as of today, most of those documents had either not been filed or were filed later today. And so even that was part of the reason why the judge decided that, listen, the prosecution themselves are not bringing in some of these documents, so we have to grant these persons bail. The judge now issued a stern warning to them that at the next agenda, they need to make sure that the documents are in check, so that the case management conference will start and then a trial will follow.
Okay, so as it stands now, all 52, but one protester was not granted bail. Let's zero in on that one, which is Oliver Bakavomawo. Let's talk about why the circuit court judge refused him bail again.
So last 2 weeks, the circuit court judge, Obriyeboa, denied him bail. They repeated the bail application at the High Court. It was then that the High Court did raise legal issues, citing Section 96(5)(c) of Act 30 to say that if a person has already committed an offense, alleged offense for which is on bail, and the person commits another offense, allegedly, and comes to court, the judge's discretion can be exercised in such a way that that person can be denied bail where there is no guarantee that that person will not go on and commit any other offense. That was the reasoning of the High Court judge yesterday, for which reason he denied him bail. Today, the lawyers tried again at the circuit court to try and get him bail, but Justice Obriyeboa said that Mr. Bakavomawo is entangled in this legal intricacy, and so the lawyers would have to find a way to deal with this legal intricacy, and once that is out of the way, they can proceed to grant him bail, or the case will continue. Mind you, the High Court judge yesterday ordered that the trial for Leo Bakavama should start within 72 hours. And if it doesn't start within 72 hours, the court should consider granting him bail. That issue was raised in court. The judge said, well, at least it's not 72 hours now. As of yesterday and today, at the time the case was heard, it was barely 24 hours. If in 72 hours there's a need to do so, the lawyers know what to do. They can bring that in court. So Oliver is the only one of the 53 protesters who has not been granted bail, who will continue to stay in custody up until the court is able to vary these orders and perhaps grant him bail.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the next court date and what the lawyers for the protesters have been telling you, but you've also been finding out about at least those who were granted bail yesterday. Have they finally started enjoying that freedom?
Well, barely 24 hours after about 20 of them were granted bail yesterday. Expectation was that by today they would have been granted bail. In fact, they came to court today in handcuffs. That meant that they had not satisfied the bail conditions. And that was because we have been hearing from grapevine sources, some people saying that there are certain aspects of the police process that is frustrating them and that they expected that they would have completed the process today. In fact, one of the persons who is entangled in this process, Felicity Nelson, today when she came to court and was able to get access to her phone, they put out this post on Facebook, and I read, "My bail was granted around 11 a.m. yesterday. The court order was only sent to the police around 2 p.m. today. The police needs to verify the sureties. This still hasn't been done. The police needs to sign the release form after verifying the sureties. This still hasn't been done. Currently, all the personnel at the Ghana Police Service who need to do the verification and consequently sign the release form are the court premises. The person who signs the bail bond closed at 4 p.m. today. The person who needs to sign the bail bond at the High Court apparently won't be working tomorrow. So, see you next week." Do you see how the state conspires to frustrate its citizens? 16 days in police custody and counting. So, Felicity Nelson says she expects to stay in custody up until next week, even though she has been granted bail.
So let's talk about the next court dates and what lawyers for the protesters have been telling you.
So most of the cases have been adjourned to 22nd October. In fact, some of them will be returning to court on the 14th, but majority of them will be going back on the 22nd October. But the lawyers say that they are really happy about the turn of events. They say that they are going to ensure that the legal intricacies that Oliver is embroiled in is dealt with. In fact, that's Dr. Justice Sai, who represents Oliver, has not been in court today. Some other lawyers held this brief. And so listen to Nelson Amedonu, part of the protest lawyers who have been excited about the turn of events so far.
It's been a successful day so far, and all we can say is thanks to God Almighty for the victory we have chalked today. And I'm sure at the end of the day, the court will pronounce all the accused persons as innocent persons.
Oliver Bakavama's bail again application denied. What is going to be the next decisions going forward when it comes to him?
That one raises legal concerns, so we have to address the court on that legal concerns, the same legal concerns that were raised at the High Court. So in the coming days, we will address the court on those legal concerns, why the court should overlook those legal concerns and grant him bail.
There's an issue of the prosecution not filing some documents, some processes. The court is now asking them to do so by the next agenda dates. What do you make of that?
Yes, that one is in order, and we have a lot of documents that we will be asking that the prosecution to provide, because so far the documents they have provided are not what we are looking for. We are looking for more documents from them. So at the next agenda date, we will put that on the table and get them to provide us with those further and better particulars.
So that's Nelson Amedonu. There, his lawyers for some of the protesters. Quick, stay with me because we've been joined on the phone by the Deputy Attorney General Alfred Chiayabwa on some clarity on this. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight. So first off, yesterday we had some opposition from the AG's department to the bail condition, because listening to Godfred Yeboah Dami at the Magistrates Conference, he mentioned that there's a directive for no opposition to the bail conditions. Can you clarify why you filed that affidavit to oppose both at the High Court and the Circuit Court?
Thank you very much, my sister. Now, when the AG addressed the magistrates, he made it clear that on the next agenda date, he was going to instruct the prosecutors to reconsider the bail application. He used the word the next agenda date. And the next agenda date was referable to the trial court's next agenda date, which eventually came to today. And so the AG was so clear that when it came to the matter came before the trial court, was going to instruct the attorneys on what to do. And today, in court, the Attorney General never opposed any of the bail applications. Yesterday was in the High Court, and we had a respectable view that when it comes to the grant of bail, when the trial court refused that grant of bail, the accused person has the right to go to the appellate court by filing a notice of appeal before the High Court will seize jurisdiction to hear that particular matter. So yesterday's case wasn't in contradiction to what the AG said when he addressed the magistrate. Today, we never opposed the grant of bail because we thought that having been in custody with him for 14 days and the investigation that the police had done, it was actually proper that the second judge could exercise restriction by granting them bail.
So you're saying that today, both at the High Court and the Circuit Court, there was no filing of affidavit in opposition to the granting of bail to these persons?
I'm talking about the Circuit Court, the trial courts. At the trial courts, we never opposed the bail application.
Well, stay with me, Mr. Alfred Chayabwa. Let me bring in my colleague, Kweku Asante. At least he was in court as well, so that you bring some clarity to it. Then we can, you can give me a direct response to that. So, Kweku, you've made some notes, at least from the court, sitting through the court. Let's go through it. What exactly transpired?
Well, so Emefa, apart from the affidavit in opposition that was filed in court, and Mr. Alfred Chayabwa says that is not the next agenda in court today. When an application for bail was moved orally by the lawyers for Raphael William Afo, Razak Suleiman, Conrad Abuaka, and a number of them, the state prosecutors did say that they wanted the lawyers to come formally and that they actually wanted an adjournment to another date so that when the bail application is made formally, that is an official bail application, that is not oral application, it can be argued. And so that is one. And then when it came to some persons, in fact, the state again opposed bail. In fact, they said that there's already a bail pending at the High Court. That is the bail that was heard earlier today in the High Court, which was adjourned to tomorrow. The prosecutors opposed that because they said that bail is already pending before High Court and they want to go and take it over there. That is where they had actually filed an affidavit in opposition. And then again, there's another claim that was made in respect to Kingsley Esiedu, said Kofi, Vera, Gloria, Louise, the lady said to be pregnant, Nikwe Hammond, the Lakwashi, and a number of them. Okay. And and then one Priscilla Tobili. The lawyers for these protesters did indicate that, in fact, some of them have been so sick that they had been in and out of court. Again, the lawyers again said that they were opposed to it because some of the arguments that have been made here have to be verified as to whether or not those persons have been sick and have been going in and out of court.
Okay,
so
let me get some clarity on this. How do you respond to that?
Yes, my sister. Now, when it comes to legal issues, you have to look at it carefully. There was a pending application at the High Court. So what the prosecutor said was that so far as there was a pending application for bail at the High Court, the Second Court could not consider the application. And counsel for the accused persons did the honorable thing by saying they were not interested in the High Court applications, and for that matter, the Second Court could go ahead and grant the accused persons bail. Because if an application pending at the High Court and one at the Circuit Court, as lawyers, you need to just, because the High Court, as you all know, is a superior court. And so if you decide not to go and move the application at the High Court, then that will mean that the Second Court will have the jurisdiction or the power to then consider your application. But in substance, the AG said on the next agenda, and that came today, we were not going to oppose the application, and we did not oppose the application in substance.
Well, but the general sentiment, at least with that clarity that you're providing, is that it appears that the state actually employed this intimidating tactics against these protesters, because even when they've been granted bail, they're still there. But that's not at least your area. But really, how do you respond to the concerns, the general concerns about that intimidating tactics by the state that was employed?
Now, I just heard it on your network that some of the accused persons have not been granted bail because they are being frustrated by the police CID. Let me explain how bail application is carried out, or when it is granted, how it is executed. Now, when a court grants bail, it is the duty of the investigator to ensure that the sureties are properly identified, the accused person's place for abode is properly identified. We will not condone any attempt by the investigators to frustrate the accused person from having their bail granted or executed. And so if there are genuine cause to prove that indeed a state agent is preventing the accused person from having the bail order executed, we will definitely come to the aid of that accused person. But the accused must also know that the police officers who are the CID officers must also be satisfied that those who are coming to stand as sureties are people that they can identify. So in the event that the accused person has cause, then they can then identify where the sureties live and then bring them to court.
But I would want to find out, at least, you mentioned the one that at least the prosecutor mentioned that there was a case pending at the High Court in terms of that bail application. Had the court upheld it, it means that that person will still not have been granted bail. Is that the case?
No, that one, from my understanding, the prosecutor went to court. Counsel for the accused person did the honorable thing by saying they were not going to pursue the High Court application, which meant that the Circuit Court could then go ahead to consider the application and they were granted bail. So in that case, if we go to court tomorrow, they will not move that application because that application has been overtaken by events at the Circuit Court.
Did prosecutors oppose the bail to be granted to Oliver Bakavomawo, for instance?
Yes, on legal ground. Because as you indicated in your intro, if you look at Section 96 of the Criminal Procedure Act, if you've been charged with an offense previously and admitted to bail, and in the course of that bail or in the course of time, you are alleged to have committed an offense, within that period, the law enjoins the sitting judge to reconsider your application for bail. So we opposed it at the Second Court today, and the Second Court upheld it.
Very well. Mr. Alfred Tiayawa, we are grateful for your time here on Newsnight. That's the Deputy Attorney General bringing some clarity to what transpired in court, and then the fact that the Attorney General's department or prosecutors did not oppose the bail to be granted. But let's take a quick break because there's more that we need to do when it comes to the Stop Galamsey fight, because tonight the Ghana Police Service is fighting off claims about refusing to act on illegal mining close to its vicinity in Enyinem in the eastern region. We had the CEO of the Minerals Commission, Martin Ayisi, yesterday reveal during his submission before Parliament's Assurance Committee that there's currently active illegal mining ongoing right behind the police station in Enyinem. He added that the commission had alerted the police to the Galamsey operation several times, but the police has failed to act on it.
We have reported severally that behind Enyam police station, people are doing stuff there which we have not permitted. So how licenses are not issued to anybody to mine a water body. So in the first place, anybody who goes to the water body to go and mine is engaged in a criminal activity. We need to be clear about that. It's engaged in a criminal activity. If we have to give any special permit for anybody to do anything in a water body, it's what we do for VRA. That from time to time they come for this special permit to dredge the estuary to allow these water snails that host the Bilharzia parasite to go away. We do that, and that's a proper thing. Outside that, there's no way we'll give you a license to go and mine a mineral in a water body. We don't do that. So anybody who gets into the water body is involved in illegality. We have reported severally that behind Enyam police station, people are doing stuff there which we have not permitted. So how come that the police is not taking action? So those guys that Minerals Commission has brought to the attention of MUSEC or DISEC, depending on where it is. The Enyinam one, for example, that Galamsey is taking place behind the police station. So it's like we've told you Galamsey is having a job, sits under proper, that is behind this new block. Respectfully, Honorable Okujeto and chair of this respectful Honorable Committee, the Minerals Commission officer has done his work. I am not saying that we have also not let Ghana down or we are 100% right, because they have told you that there are instances where people have had all their rights and they have made mistakes. Of course, that's why they are inspectors.
But well, tonight we've been hearing or getting some information from the Ghana Police Service on this, and they maintain that the CEO of the Minerals Commission has never reported any illegal mining activities to the police, nor has any other report of illegal mining been made. However, they maintain that in March 2024, the Nyinim District Police Command, in collaboration with the District Security Council, DISEC, conducted a series of operations targeting illegal mining activities on the Birim River, located approximately 800 meters from the Nyinim police station. Well, they conclude by saying that these efforts resulted in the arrest of 5 suspects, 4 of whom are currently facing trial at the Koforidua Circuit Court, with the case being prosecuted by the Attorney General's Department in Koforidua. As we speak, my colleagues are on the ground and trying to ascertain for ourselves, indeed, what exactly the situation is on the ground. But we've been checking on Google Earth, and my colleague Michael Ashale joins me in studio on what we are seeing in terms of what technology can give us. What do we know?
Well, Emefa, so Google Earth uses satellite data. I mean, the satellites that have been flying over Ghana have been giving us accurate data as to what the situation is. Let me just put across that the data we have is as current as 2023. It means that at the time that the man was also talking about reporting the issue, what we saw. If you are joining us on Facebook, you can critically see the video referring to how far the police station is from this particular river and what is going around the river. Just behind the police station, it's some patch of green forest there. Not far from that, you see some brown patches that leads to the river. It means that you are seeing some dugouts around the river, and that is brown. And you see that in all Galamsey communities, these are characteristics of that area. You see the river brown snaking through the community, and then you see patches of brown areas around it. That is where you find illegal mining going. This distance we are talking from the police station between the green patch to the river is less than 1 kilometer. If you do the measurement on Google Earth, you see that data for yourselves. And this is a small community relatively from where the police station is to the river. To 2 of its sides where the river meets it, Galamsey is heavily going on. We can confirm that. You can see that as well on social media, Emefa.
Well, thank you very much, Michael Ashale. And we're hoping to get more on this particular issue and what exactly the police is doing subsequently after this March 24 arrest that they talk about. Today, as we speak, what exactly is the police doing about it, considering the distance between the police station and where exactly this illegal mining is happening? And we'll get to hear more on this. But let's take a quick break. We'll return with business.
Money promo Everybody likes money, but what do we like more than money? More money! Join the Telecel More Money promo and win money, more money, and even more money. Simply opt in for free and reload your mobile and broadband and be the lucky winner of the 1 million Ghana cedis grand prize. Also win cash prizes of up to 3 million Ghana cedis in the daily and weekly draw. Opt in for free by dialing *500# or send WIN to 500, or you can opt in on the Telecel Play app. The more you reload, the higher chances of winning in the Telecel More Money promo. Keep loading, win, and be a millionaire.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Charlie, this year's elections, I am really confused. I don't know who to vote for.
Why don't you know who to vote for? Let's listen to one policy JDM says he's going to implement when he's voted.
I think so NDC ban. You be bien Juman kitten. My branch executive na di omo be gym. Say akukọ na person share poultry farm ketue bi near mao akukọ bono near ton kokọ na mao near mao eduane a wo de beto eduane sika wo de beto eduane ama.
But why are you laughing? My guy, relax. So this is the reason he wants us to vote for him? Oh, the man hasn't changed one bit. Same old dead goat. Now let's listen to one of the many policies Dr. Bawumia has for the youth.
Jobs will be my major focus. Now, me be training 1 million youth in digital skills.
And see, that's not all. Apart from that, he's going to set up SME Bank to enable SMEs expand, to create jobs for the youth, and also increase demand with the buy now, pay small policy, which is the credit scoring system.
Oh, really?
That's not all, oh. Let me give you the last one. He says he's going to introduce Buy Ghana First policy to boost local businesses to help them expand and employ more youth.
Wow. Now, I know who I'm voting for come December 7th. Dr. Bawumia, you have my vote.
Yes, so these are but a few of DMB's bold solutions for the youth when he's voted into power come December 7th. I've changed my mind. I'm not voting for JDM anymore. I'll vote for the bold solutions man, Dr. Baumia. Great decision, my brother. This year, Dr. Baumia's vote, yem fan cheche. Vote Dr. Baumia, #1 on the ballot.
Hello, my name is Mami Akua, an entrepreneur and a mother of two. My work keeps me busy most of the time and sometimes it takes me away from my family. But the safety and health of my family is very important to me. As a working mother, I cannot afford to take any chances when it comes to matters of health. That is why I signed up for a family healthcare plan from Equity Health Insurance. My family and I have access to over 700 hospitals, clinics, opticians, dentists, pharmacies, and diagnostic centers across the length and breadth of Ghana. With Equity Health Insurance, I no longer have to worry about medical bills. Anytime a member of my family visits a hospital, Equity Health Insurance has got my family and I covered. What about you? Who has got you covered?
Call Equity Health Insurance on 050-660-7910 and talk to them about your family health needs now. Visit equityhealthinsurance.com for more information. Equity Health Insurance, here for you.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da na ma da with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
This year, I go vote Angaza. Even if they offer me all the watcher in Ghana. Lai, I no go mess up.
Me too. Okrowoti power. Conti. Buy you. But with a shine one eyes, I hear see them they massage and change the results at the EC head office.
My people, I'm sure you're still talking about the election again. But what is the gist?
I heard they're able to change the figures at the EC head office and make our vote useless.
Let me assure you, even if we put your party's candidate, chairman, and general secretary as the EC chairperson and deputies, they will still not be able to steal the election for any candidate.
Sir?
The election is won or lost at the polling station, not at the EC head office. Every polling station has party agents watching like hawks.
But what about the ballot boxes? How do we know they are secure?
We dey treat the ballot boxes like then they carry pure gold. The ballot box is sealed with the seals of the Electoral Commission and all the political parties who choose to.
And the counting process, how do we know it's fair?
The counting is done openly for all to watch. Feely. The results go on a carbonized pink sheet. Pink sheet, no?
Yes.
The pink sheets are signed by all the agents. So we post a copy of the signed pink sheets at the polling station and also give copies to all the parties.
How are the results recorded?
From close to 40,000 polling stations, parties collate results from the pink sheets. Whoever gets the most votes from the pink sheets wins. Are you free? Are you fair?
So if the party fails to check the pink sheet properly,
blame yourself. Exactly. Look, the way the security services, the party agents, election observers, and even the media make wild they watch the election inside. Nobody go fit steal this election inside. The EC they ensure say the voting process it be free, it be fair, where it be transparent on top. So make confident, then go and cast your vote on election day. But remember, elections are won and lost at the polling station, not at the EC head office. 2024 election process, no. It be clean, no kululu.
Thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight. Let's do business. George Wiafe is here. Hello, George.
Hi, Emefa. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Well, coming up in business, some energy analysts are worried about the outlook for crude prices and impact on consumers in Ghana as Middle East tension escalates and pushes prices almost to $80 a barrel. And Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam cautions state-owned enterprises over fresh borrowings and its impact on the country's debt. The business news on Newsnight. It's brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Synthesis Tanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal. Let's now settle for the details. Now, energy analyst Dr. Suleiman Yusuf is worried about the outlook of crude prices in the coming days. It is based on the current developments in the Middle East that has pushed oil prices closer to $8 a barrel. Dr. Suleiman noted that the development is not good for consumers here in Ghana.
For now, the conflict seems to be contained, but if there should be a full-fledged war between Hezbollah and Israel, with Iran joining, that's a condition. If Iran should join the war and becomes a whole regional war, then it's going to impact, the carbon flow from the east to the west. And that, of course, will impact, the overall production portfolio of all these fields, and the supplies will be impacted. But my calculation is that I don't foresee, I could be wrong, I don't foresee Iran, coming up with full force, because as we see the conflict now, the calculation of Iran is that everybody wants a U.S., election to be over. And so if you notice, even after the killing of Hamas leader, even in Iranian soil, they haven't retaliated. It's calculated and strategic move of a sort. Because as I speak now, I think Israel is on the offensive and they have all the backings that they need from the U.S. And unless Iran is ready to go to war with the U.S., which I think both of them don't need to.
Dr. Yusuf Suleiman is an energy expert. Now, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam is cautioning state-owned enterprises against negotiating loan facilities that would increase the country's debt levels. The directive has been influenced by the significant progress that government has made to reduce the country's debt stock through what some would describe as painful debt restructuring deals with domestic and external creditors. Finance Minister was speaking to Joy Business at the maiden edition of the Boardroom Governance Summit.
Whatever SOEs are doing, it has impact on the debt profile of the country. And so when SOEs negotiate loans and other facilities without regards to the national objective in mind, they leave us with losses and debts and contingent liabilities that the state will have to shoulder. And now we have limits on how much we can borrow under our IMF program. And we want to be able to continue to pose those limits even beyond our IMF program so that we have limits on debt levels which can be contracted by the government as in central government and those that be contracted by CEOs of SOEs.
Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. Now, mining firm Atlantic Lithium says it has secured the final regulatory approval for its Oya project in the Central Region from the Minerals Commission. Now, this was captured in a statement issued to the investing public. There is more in this report.
Atlantic Lithium in the investor update noted that this license coming from the Minerals Commission will help the company kickstart construction at its mining project in the Central Region comprising the Oya lithium mine and the processing plant. This, the firm says, presents an important milestone towards reaching their final investment decision. The development could also help them raise fresh investment for the project. It added in the statement that the company currently awaits the ratification of the Oya mining lease by Parliament, which will fast-track work on the mines as well as exports of their product.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, brewery giants Guinness Ghana has indicated that it is sourcing majority of its input locally to help it manage the exchange rate shocks to its operations. A lot of mining firms in the country have been hit badly due to the city's depreciation as they have to turn to import majority of their inputs for production. Sylvia Wosu Ankoma is the Corporate Relations Director at Guinness Ghana.
Overall, we currently place that target around 47% across all brands when it comes to local sourcing. We are investing in farming communities. We're investing in best agronomic practices is as a way of ensuring that we have the right value chain to continue sourcing locally. It is also a way in fighting the forex exposures that we do see as a business. So it's really beneficial, not just for the business, but also for the community. So that's something we continue to ensure we make the right investment in and get the best benefit out of the value chain.
Sylvia Wusankoma is the Corporate Relations Director at Guinness Ghana. Let's turn attention to the stock market. If you have invested in the market from the beginning of the year till now, your returns has now reached almost 40%, far higher than what we get in on other investment instruments. And that's all for Business on Newsnight. Back to you.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
We have a new leader in town. Obiarentie. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
This October, come and encounter Jesus in a way you've never experienced before. The Maker's House Chapel International presents Experience Conference 2024 under the theme Jesus. From 6th to 13th October, join us for a week of divine connection and spiritual renewal. Be transformed by powerful ministrations from anointed men of God, Pastor Jonathan Miller, Reverend Eastwood Anaba, Dr. Dion Bias, and your host, Dr. Michael Brady Nyamiche. The venue is the Destiny Arena of the Maker's House Chapel International, Atomic Atchison School of Nuclear and Allied Sciences. Weekday services start 6:30 p.m. and weekends 8 a.m. Experience Conference 2024. Don't just hear about it, be a part of it. Experience Jesus.
Luxurious, affordable living is your right, and no one understands it better than BOT Properties. BOT Properties specializes in modern residential buildings and commercial office spaces. Our properties include the Equator, a 12-story made up of over 100 apartments near Accra Mall. Other Equator courts, we offer you the deluxe living experience with our top-of-the-range homes, high-quality homes built with style and precision to suit your lifestyle. The Equator Court is a gated community with 2-story, 4-bedroom detached houses at Ogbojo, East Legon, near American House. Our office complexes include Zion House, Shiashi, East Legon, Zion House, Sofa Line Interchange, Kumasi. Our offices and apartments are for both rental and outright purchases at affordable prices and with flexible payment terms. Kindly contact us on 0257 960 919 or visit botproperties.com. BOT Properties, the new meaning of affordable luxury.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah.
Welcome and now for a daily star 712 hash and found no regrets. A side comma investors are a striking gold. A comma health workers are a diagnosing luck with precision. A side comma that tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. Say a comma passionate fan or also entering containing a joy. After to the seamstresser or turning a hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now a comma if you say your next big win is right here.
Dial star 712 hash and join the luckiest winning celebration. From the 1st of July 2024, dial star 712 hash to keep buying tickets as a group, individual, or even as a community. Win loads of cash and prizes in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Join the winning streak now.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight. Let's do sports. Danny Cranting, the luckiest. Okay, what's in sports?
Black Stars are not too lucky. An injury hit Black Stars. They held their second training session in Accra earlier today ahead of their AFCON qualifier against Sudan on Thursday. Head coach Otto Addo's plans have been affected due to an injury to captain Thomas Partey and key forwards Joseph Pinsel and Osman Bukari. As a result, late call-ups have been handed to Francis Abu Michael Bedu and former Black Starlet star Ibrahim Sadiq. 23 players took part in today's session at the Accra Sports Stadium. Ghana are 5 points behind leaders Angola and need maximum points against Sudan to boost their chances of qualifying. Before I go, the Joy Sports Invitational is happening on October 26th at the Legon Sports Stadium. Activities on the day will include the men's football competition, the women's penalty shootout, mixed 4x100 relay, volleyball, basketball shooting, lime and spoon relay, and then the CEO penalty shootout. To register, simply call 054 912 6905. That's 054 912 6905. That's all for sports. Back to you, Emefa.
Thank you very much, Danny Cranting. Well, tonight, Organised Labour's planned demonstration against illegal mining has suffered another position as the Ghana Medical Association have opted out of the action, despite the Trade Union Congress reaffirming its decision to protest the government's inaction over the destruction of river bodies and forests by illegal mining. The Ghana Medical Association is citing a lack of consultation, reason why they cannot participate. Well, despite this, though, more individual groups have voted to join the protest. My colleague James Aveji joins me in studio with a list of all the groups that have now pledged to join the protest. Barely 48 hours to go. What do we know?
So quite a number of them. So far we know that UDS, UTAG, since yesterday, midday of yesterday, have concluded that voting, and they've voted massively to support the planned strike. UCC UTAG has also voted yes to that. Akente Napia Menka University have also voted yes. NAT as well as NAGRAT have all indicated their support for the industrial action. GMA, as you mentioned, is against it. These universities, KNUST, UMAT, are all yet to take a their vote and declare their official position on the matter. But per the data we have so far, quite a majority of them have declared their support to that strike.
And we've been hearing from the UTAG president on Top Story mentioning that at least they have overwhelming support for that as we speak. But we've been hearing from the GPRTU, also the drivers. They've pledged to join the strike on Thursday. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union is also asking government to heed the calls of organized labor. We can hear from Public Relations Officer of GPRTU, Alhaji Abbas Ibrahim Moro.
We are a member of the organized labor. As such, whatever decision organized labor takes, we are bound to be part of it, or we are fully part of it. We've seen this galamsey issue has been in existence for decades. It wasn't initially practiced the way it is today. Today, all our water bodies are being poisoned with the chemicals those galamseyers used to extract the minerals that they are looking for. All the forest reserves, which is of course, and all are also being destroyed. Do we have to die before we fight for things which are, if are not done, we are going to survive? The answer is no. Although the galamsey is not in Accra, but the water runs several thousands of miles, several thousand kilometers from its original source before entering into the sea.
That's the GPRTU on their position today. We've also been hearing from the civil society organizations in sustainable development goals, throwing their full support also behind organized labor.
To take these immediate actions. The first action we are requesting for is the immediate revocation of LI 2426 and withdrawal of all licenses that have been granted for reconnaissance, prospecting, exploration and or mining in forests and protected reserves. We also call for the withdrawal of all licenses that have been granted for mining concessions that span across water bodies.
Well, let me bring in my colleague Emmanuel Braikweku monitoring voting on some campuses. Emmanuel Braikweku, what can you report?
All right, so Emefa, here in Kumasi, KNUST, they opened the portal, the online portal for voting today. And so between today and tomorrow, they should expect that voting will be done on the KNUST campus. But for now, the Amstead campus, that's Akenting, Apiaminka University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development, they have completed their voting. They have two campuses, one in Kumasi and the other one in Mampong. So when they collated the results from the two campuses, 49 voted. And out of the 49, 33 voted yes to the strike and 16 voted no to this particular strike. But we also learned about that's University of Energy and Natural Resources. We know that 115 voted in that particular exercise, and 102 voted yes, and 13 of them voted no. And so, Emefa, this is what happened in the Ashanti region and also in the Bono region.
Thank you very much. That's Emmanuel Braikweku with updates on that voting on the various campuses in the Ashanti region. Well, today there was a protest or a march in Accra. Also, hundreds of Ghanaians took to the streets to pile pressure on the Chief Justice and the Attorney General to fast-track hearing of a case which has slowed the process of getting the newly passed anti-LGBTQ bill into law. The bill was passed by Parliament in February this year, but has not been signed into law by the President following that legal challenge seeking to prevent the President from signing it. Sam George is co-sponsor of the bill.
We're simply here to ask the Chief Justice to stop being selective in the dispensation of justice. We're demanding that the Chief Justice stops abusing her office and her power. She's using her power capriciously and maliciously, and that has been warned and prevented in Article 296 of the Constitution. The Chief Justice must show justice to all manner of people in equal manner and shape and size. And so that's all we are saying. We are going to her and saying that the way she behaved in the case involving the election petition, the way they behaved in the case involving the exemptions, where lawyer for the plaintiffs filed their case in the morning. By afternoon, she had given a hearing notice.
And my colleague Kenneth Jesse was part of that march today, joins me on the line. Kenneth, briefly, they petitioned both the Attorney General and the Chief Justice. What was containing the petition?
Well, contained in the petition is one simple thing. They are calling on the Chief Justice
to pressure the Attorney General to expedite hearing. They're saying that the Chief Justice has failed to file applications to the Supreme Court, which is a deliberate attempt to stall the processes. So some judges petitioned both the Chief Justice and the Attorney General, which were represented by representatives from both institutions.
In your statement, the Supreme Court made reference to having, and I quote, an early trial, assuring us that it will work expeditiously to hear and rule on these matters in a timely manner. Unfortunately, over 10 weeks later, there is no indication of any schedule or actions to execute an early trial that will protect our rights as citizens to timely and efficient justice delivery in this instance. Without speedy scheduling of the hearings, further time will be lost, potentially preventing the conclusion of the bill this year, and further risking 3 years of time and resource investments in this draft bill.
Well, so that's some judge there petitioning the AG's office earlier today. Now, Ghana's ambassador to Togo, Kofi Mensah Demechia, has stated the agent's need for a united effort in confronting the growing terror threat from the Sahel. Speaking at a joint reaffirmation exercise meeting in Lome, the Togolese capital, he called for a proactive and collaborative approach to combat the looming threat. Well, my colleague Maxwell Agbagba is in Lome covering the meeting between Ghana and Togo boundary commissions, and he will join us shortly. But we can hear from Commissioner General of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, also reiterating the critical role of the boundary reaffirmation exercises in maintaining security along Ghana's international borders.
We have separate citizens, Togolese citizens and Ghanaian citizens. Ghana's election is solely for Ghanaians. Ghanaians want to choose their leaders. So it's the preserve of Ghanaians to vote. No, the situation where people live in Togo and want to still vote in Ghana, I think it's not the best. No, so if you are non-Ghanaian, my advice is that you stay in your country, because when they were having their elections, Ghanaians did not interfere. And therefore, we don't expect the Togolese also to interfere. Sure. And I believe that this mutual understanding should be there for the two countries.
Okay. And then the terror threat spilling down from the Sahel to West African coastal states, all West African countries.
Boundary issue is still being handled at the levels of the head of states. And we're hoping that this should be resolved as soon as possible.
Okay. And then the cooperation between the two boundary commissions on the reaffirmation exercises that have been carried out.
The cooperation has been very good. Togo, for instance, has transited from one leadership to another leadership while this has been going on. And the transition has been very good because the new leadership of the Land Boundary Commission of Togo have been very cooperative, just like the first one. And I think that the zeal and the exuberance that the new leadership has brought is even going to help us to accelerate the work that we're doing along the international boundary line.
That's Major General Emmanuel Kotia there interacting with my colleague Maxwell Agbagba in Lome, Togo. He's the Commissioner General of the Ghana Boundary Commission. Now, let's talk about Pando Senior High School. They're trending today. They're riding high on the winds of victory. The school from the Volta region has emerged as a bright spark in the 5th edition of the Energy Commission Senior High School Renewable Energy Challenge. My colleague Jacqueline Ansumayeboa has more in this report.
The grand finale, held at the Accra International Conference Center, was held under the theme Application of Renewable Energy Technologies in Solving Land Degradation and Water Pollution. And Bando SHS, well, they just didn't compete. They anticipated their win, electrifying the judges and audience alike.
The other niggas were making noise. We didn't make noise. What did you do? We're there, natural. Calm and collected. Mindful and demure. We maintained our steez. And what did you do? We delivered.
The competition saw stiff rivalry from the Bokba Technical Institute, Ahantaman Girls Senior High, Ola Girls Senior High, Obuasi Senior High Technical School, and St. James Seminary Senior High. But in the end, Bando's winning project focused on harnessing plastic waste as a valuable resource, turning what's often seen as trash into gold. Their innovative approach not only impressed the judges, but also offered a sustainable solution to plastic pollution. In the end, they switched on a winning performance, leaving the others in their shade.
Yes. We what? GGI what? Okay. We have no time to waste. What do you do? Dead. What are you saying? What are you saying?
So mesmerizing. I knew it. Because if you had listened to our anthem from the onset, we said, "O blessed Pasek, not invade thy soul." Therefore, there is no way Pasek's soil is going to be invaded.
The Bokba Technical Institute, the first runner-ups, were still beaming with joy despite not taking home the trophy.
We are going to win, but we couldn't make it. So, second is the same as first, so we made it again. So maybe next year, we'll try our best.
Officer in charge of renewable energy regulation at the Energy Commission, Bernice Norte, praised the Winning Schools project and revealed that all projects from participating schools would be further developed.
We are looking at not just refining the winning project, but we are also looking at giving all the projects to CSIR to see which ones will be commercially viable.
So while the light at the ACC may be off, the bright ideas from these young minds will continue to shine on. For Joy News, I am Jacqueline Ansama Yaboa.
High school is the second. The second is still.
Congratulations once again to Mando Senior High School. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of Newsnight. Some of your messages. Edward Kwashin Teshi says, does the police require someone to file an official complaint before they could arrest in a crime solution? Can't they take any initiative by themselves? Some of your messages, I'm sorry, I can't go through all of them. We're really out of time. The geeks are up next. Eduvia,
hi.
What's up?
Hi, Emefa. I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing well. What are we talking about today?
When was the last time you updated your privacy settings?
Oh, no.
For maybe your Facebook or...
I have to be updating it.
Yes. Yes. We are going to have a conversation on that tonight. There's a need to be doing that. And so we want to show people how they can navigate doing those settings and then updating it.
If you don't do it, what happens?
You stand a risk.
Okay.
Yes, you stand. It could be not necessarily, but it could be that maybe you have some information out there. You are linked to a third-party app. They may be using some information. Exactly. So there's a need for you to be updated. It. Yeah.
This one is for me. The show is for me. We are staying for it. The geeks are up next. You want to stay? There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a good evening.